catch the beat. There you go. We are here. It's single on a Saturday night. Not lonely on a Saturday night. Single on a Saturday night. That doesn't mean we don't have a boo thing. It just means that we are not married. So anyway, it's single on a Saturday night. I'm Shelly Williams. Single, never been married. I'm gonna keep this going because you know what? This is gonna be a juicy show, so we gotta keep it going. I'm gonna go real fast like that. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm JT, aka The Genius. Been married twice, no kids, and single.
How'd you make it through 2 marriages and no kids? What was you doing?
Excuse me.
I have no baby mama drama.
Sex does not equal babies. It is 2017.
Let me tell you, all the people we know with kids. I mean, a lot of people got
I
kids.
try to tell them that all the time. No, the only people who have babies, it takes 2 individuals to not care. Because as long as one of the individuals cares, ain't no babies coming. Because now we can even fix it after we made the mistake. We making these choices, and I ain't talking about the A word. I'm talking about plan B. When you realize that plan A ain't work out.
I feel you. So go ahead. You made it through 2 marriages. Amen. He said amen. All right, we're going to keep it going.
Patrice Bailey. I'm a model with MMA Model Management, and I'm single.
She's so modest. She's MMA manager. But I heard her, I saw her pictures are up in Philadelphia.
My goodness, they are so beautiful.
Did you see him up in Philadelphia?
I know her. I was starstruck.
He's starstruck. So up in the Philadelphia University, her pictures are all over the walls. So that's her modeling. She's being modest, so she's really modeling all over the world with that Colgate smile. And we're claiming it and putting that in existence so she can get that Colgate commercial. So boom, there you go. Go ahead, Carvin.
Hi, I'm Carvin Hagen, songwriter and producer.
All right, we got a songwriter and producer. He's modest too. He's Carvin Hagens of Grammy Award-winning producer and all that kind of stuff. He actually has an artist out right now, Bria Marie. Bria Marie, the song is out. Tell us about that. Just tell us about Bria Marie.
Bria Marie is an artist I've discovered maybe 6 years ago, and we've been in development with her and putting records out throughout the years. Right now, we have a new album out called 432, single out called Bad Habit. And pretty much the music that we create is ethical music. It's family-friendly music. There's nothing that when your mom get in the car, you gotta turn it down because it's saying something crazy. So we just make good music for young women and just try to put a message in the music as well. So, yeah.
Isn't that the name of your company, Ethical Music?
Ethical Music Entertainment.
Ethical Music, yes, Entertainment. And she has a song with Musiq Soulchild, right?
Absolutely. The song is called Okay.
And she's one of the #1 independent artists out there, right? She her downloads for her song was one of the #1 on those charts, the independent charts. So that's big.
So how do you download music if it's independent? Like, is it on iTunes? I don't know anything about that because I'm old. So
independent means independent of a major label like a Sony, Atlantic, or whoever got the big money. So independent means an individual made a company and decided to release their music. So we're an independent company and we release the music. It's on iTunes.
Thank you. That's all I want to know. When you get to that part.
It's on Spotify. It's everywhere.
Because I got to see her in concert. Yay. I was excited.
She did, right?
I did, yes. It was very family friendly. However, I would say if it was my mother, she would have turned it off. Because my mother liked it when it was crazy. Like, you know, she was a big DMX and Snoop Dogg fan. So.
Yeah, and then afterwards, it's funny. Somebody came up to me, asked me, could you find out if I could take a picture with her? And I'm like, sure. I know her. Yeah, I can do that. I can make that happen for you. So, yes, Bria Marie, download her songs right now. Her videos are on YouTube. She got the song, and then she does a dance in a chair. No, I'm just sorry. I just saw the video. It's just really decent. So anyway, Bria Marie, Carvin Hagen.
It's not that type of dance.
No, not that. Not a stripper. Is that my stripper dance?
That was real aggressive.
It actually looked more like what I remember, like back with the ladies first kind of dancing, and she had her little girl backup group, and I was feeling all empowered. Then I felt old because then my hips started hurting. But it was really, really nice. It was. I enjoyed it.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
But today we are still, this is part 2 of finding the one, and our very own Dr. Dave Pulley. Dr. Dave Pulley. David Pulley, whatever you want to call him, but he's a doctor. He has found the one. And you know he's been on the show for 4 years talking about he was single and unavailable. So I guess he was.
But this ain't the one he was unavailable for.
So I guess he was.
That's what the fun. That's what's hilarious.
Yeah. He's available. He's available.
I just want that clarified. So he was unavailable because of somebody else, but now he found the one, and this the one sitting next to him. So I'm just saying.
Right. So I guess.
So he wasn't. I'm just saying. So it ain't just JT over there making bad decisions.
I'm so glad he found the one. He's available. He's available to the one. So I believe this. Ladies, listen up. When someone says they're not ready, you need to listen. You need to listen hard. They
Stop
say,
trying to push it.
I don't have this, I'm not ready, I'm not there. You just listen. When they say they're not available, don't try to push up because he look good. You're just not the one. Because I want to be the one day. Obviously, I'm not.
You know what? And stop that. We don't push up because it look good. It ain't really.
Not us. I ain't
No,
talking about
I'm
us.
talking about we women.
Yeah.
Like that, you know, I just say that because I gave my top 10 reasons why I'm single this week because I was like thinking about, or every man want to tell me, or excuse me, not just men, old ladies. I'm like, did you know that because you're 6 feet tall, you ain't gonna find no man? Did you know that? Because don't nobody want 6 foot tall women. I learned that this week. But they just randomly offer you these things that's wrong with you that you're supposed to go fix. Just like all out the blue, everybody got an opinion. So I don't want you to feel like it's the women running out there, because the men be running out there too looking for somebody. Mostly because they broke and need someplace to live.
Oh, listen, anyway, so make sure you're not available to that one either. Anyway, so
Them homo sapiens, they real. You know, the hobos, yeah, that's real.
anyway, so what do you think? We're gonna get into Dr. Dave Pulley after the break. We're gonna come back in with you, and we're gonna let you take over the mic and everything. But I want to know what you think makes someone the one. Are we doing something different? Are we doing something wrong to not be the one? Are we just settling? Is that what it is? I'm just saying.
I think that that we don't prepare ourselves for the one. I think that we're busy looking, trying to find what we think we want, but we never prepare ourselves to receive it. So the ones that came before may have been the one, and I may have not been prepared, or she may have not been prepared. So I think preparation for everything equals success at the end, right? In any business that you do, in any venture that you go into, preparing yourself for that moment, right? Because some women find a man and be like, after I get married, I'm gonna become a wife.
Yup.
When you really should already be a wife waiting for him to find you. You should already have those characters, all the characters that a helpmate should have. You should already have it when he finds you, not when you get the ring. Then I'm gonna stop going out with my girls. I'm gonna try to learn a new trade. No, don't do that afterwards. Do that. You need to be found already made.
And just because we always throw it on the men, on the women,
Same thing on the
I just
men as
want to
well.
know. I just
Yeah.
want to say this about the men. Don't come tell me how you gonna stop cheating on her because you gonna when you get married, even though you already gave her the ring. Right. So, because you know, I got a whole bunch of girlfriends that's sleeping with some fiancé man that's somebody else's fiancé. But he swear, as soon as he say I do, he gonna stop.
He gonna stop, and I do understand that. But when you say prepare yourself to be the wife, I mean, what more do you have to do except for being a woman? Isn't that what it is? I'm a woman. What is that? I mean, what do I have to do?
There's a mindset.
Shave? What? I don't
You
know.
said earlier a selflessness,
I'm passing the
right?
mic.
So there's a mindset of selflessness, right? So one of the things, of course, in Christ, we believe as being servants, right? We're servants, and the way it works is that you work outside of you. So my job is to make her happy and really not be complaining about what I want, right? So if you're in a restaurant, someone come and serve you, no matter the attitude that you give them, most times they serve you with a smile. They make sure your meal is good because eventually something's going to come back to them at the end, right? So every relationship requires that same selfless behavior. It's like I'm here to provide for you. And hopefully she'll be doing the same thing. And if not, then y'all not equally yoked anyway. But that's the mindset, it's selflessness.
In the perfect world.
In the perfect, I mean, no,
It
it's
works.
not.
I mean, it's real. I'm experiencing it. It's absolutely real.
The only reason I can say it, when you think about it, like Dr. Dave said, it is two people, it was three actually, in the same room saying the same thing, so it's possible. But who taught us how to prepare? Whoever said that we've been doing this show for 5 years and nobody ever said you need to prepare yourself. You need to, not that I don't remember.
I was sitting next to you and I seen, remember those things? I've even said you need to prepare, and I mean my mama and my daddy and my nana and my uncles, they all told me the same thing. I think that more so what has happened, just from what I see, is that men done told you that everything that everybody else told you was wrong, and we done taken all that in and lowered our standards, and we look around and our girlfriends settled, and now they trying to get you to settle too because they miserable.
Right.
Oh no, we're not settling. We're gonna go to a break. We're going to call this the No Settle Zone. No Settle Zone. When we come back, we're going to hear from Dr. Dave Pulley and his one. And she's here. She's so beautiful. I love her. Anyway, let's go. Howard Gilliam Jr., New Video Productions. Every Thursday at 1 o'clock p.m. we have My Special Day TV on PhillyCam, phillycam.org. And of course, Doc Smitty, Groove Boy Entertainment. Go to Groove Boy Entertainment on Facebook and check out all the pictures from every show. Because it's been 5 years, y'all, in one day. Anyway, let's go.
I feel like Cinderella.
I said, that's fiction. I dropped my hat and ran.
The whole veil comes off.
A little bit X-rated.
Happy birthday, Tracy!
Hit the gas and took off.
Hey, we are right here at The Grill, 1080 North Delaware Avenue. It's Single on a Saturday Night. Go to singleonasaturdaynight.com. Check out all the episodes. Singleonasaturdaynighttv.com. I think I said that wrong the first time, but singleonasaturdaynighttv.com. I want to get it right this time, so I want you to go to it. Check it out. Every episode, 5 years strong. And I think between all these 5 years, we have some marriages. I have to shout out to the people who are married that came from Single on a Saturday Night. I'm just shouting you out. I'm not putting you on the spot. Tamara Williams. She's Nella Williams, like me. It's almost like we're related. Hi, Tasty. We call her Tasty. She is married. She's been married for 3 years. She started Single on a Saturday Night day one. And we have Christopher Barrios and Keisha B. They have been married for a year. So this is just letting you know that it is possible. And now today we have Dr. Dave Pulley, and he's going to tell us about his ordained spouse. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Mate, spouse,
Ordained spouse.
person?
Absolutely. Well, first I want to just share, it's a blessing to be here in this capacity after you receive a breakthrough. So again, I'm Dr. Dave Pulley, and
She's got a microphone. Oh, he's so nervous. Look at that, so cute. Look at him.
I'm Nina Greenhouse.
And just a few things that I heard before we went to break that I wanted to address. Obviously I'm going to be biased when I say that no one, you said earlier, Sully, no one has said, how to get here. But like I said, for 4 years, I've been saying how to get here. And the thing is if it doesn't fit with what you have in mind for what it takes. I remember one of the episodes I was going in on some of my material and what I say that it takes to get here. And obviously I think this might have even been I don't remember how long ago that episode was, but it definitely was, I think, before I met Nina. And the thing is that I walk what I talk, and I was putting it out there, and it just didn't interest certain people. So if the information is being put out there, but you're not there yet, or you don't find it interesting, or whatever, it doesn't spark you, then it's not that God hasn't given it to you. It's not that you haven't been exposed to it. It's, do you have the ears to hear it? Are you at the point in your life, like Carvin was saying, are you at the point in your life where you're ready to implement it and practice it? That's really what it comes down to. So, and in terms of the single but unavailable that I was saying for 4 years straight, you're right. That only had slight variations over those 4 years because I was waiting to hear from God. And that's what I teach, that's what I preach, and like I said, I practice what I preach and I walk what I talk. So I couldn't get to that altar until I heard from God. I couldn't even after a certain point, I couldn't even say that I was in another relationship until I heard from God on the one. So I was going to be saying that for however long. Now I remember friends and family, they were concerned because they were like, we don't want you to miss out on the one. And I would tell them, I would reassure my friends and family that how my faith works is I'm going to wait to hear from God on who this is. And I had actually a word. That's the interesting thing. I actually had a word on an ex, but that word happened to be a test, but I didn't know that at the time. And so I'm waiting on that one. And everybody was concerned like, oh, well, we don't want you to miss the real one because you're waiting on this word for this X. But the way I believe, God loves all of us too much to have us miss the one because we're wrong or because we didn't listen or any of that. Now, if he's consistently giving you that information and you ignore it, then that's different. But if you think you're hearing from him and you're trying to be obedient to that, he's not going to let you fall. He's not going to let you falter. So I'm here today with Nina because not only did I hear, but she actually heard first, 6 months before I heard. And I spent 6 months telling her that she was wrong because I had this other word. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. For me, the reason why my phrase changed from single but unavailable to I'm in a relationship is because I heard from God. And like Carvin was saying, everything matches up. We do complete each other's thoughts. Everything that he was saying, it's real. We complete each other's thoughts. Even preparation for this show, we knew what each other was thinking, what we were planning, and it's a beautiful thing. It's on a whole nother level, and that's what I want for everybody.
Nina, you heard, I didn't mean to just go right in, it was my question in my head. You heard God say to you that he was the one, right? Mm-hmm. So he's fighting you on it, like, no. So what were you going through? Because in my head, I was like, why am I doing this? Why do I have to go through this if God is telling me the one? What were you going through?
That's a good question. Because he had told me 3 times on top of that, you know. I heard it 3 times, and so...
He said David Pulley was the one?
He was like, David is your husband. I heard that 3 times. One day, I was like sitting in a meeting at my job. And in the meeting, I'm like listening to whatever is going around me, and all I heard was, David is your husband. I'm like, what? Because everybody who knows the story of David, he was already believing for somebody else. So I'm like, that's a lie. I'm like, that's not even God. I said, maybe that's emotion. So then I was asleep, heard it again. David is your husband. I was like, what is this? So I didn't tell him for a while because, again, I was like, this is crazy. This man is believing for somebody else. He's saying that God has told him that there is somebody else that is assigned. I said, I'm not getting ready to pray for somebody who is already believing for somebody else. I said, so God, if this is you, you're going to have to turn this thing around. And so I waited. So one day we were on the phone and he was just like, hey, you know, is there something that you are hearing or something like that? And I was like, what are you talking about? He was like, is there something that you're hearing? And I was like, you know, because one, I am not the type of female, especially if God has said something, I have always taken the belief, you let God talk to the man. And if God is talking to the man, he'll come back to you. But when he was asking me, I'm like, I'm not trying to tell him that that God has told me he's my husband, and he hadn't heard nothing yet. So I told him, and he was just like, so if everybody knows Dr. Dave, he was just like, so let's think this thing out. Like, how did you come to this? And I was like, I don't know. I said, it's just something I heard. He's like, well, let's just try to walk this thing through. Because his thing was, you ain't hearing from God, and so we're going to have to try to figure this out. So I was like, well, all right, maybe I'm just wrong. And I was like, maybe it's just my emotions. You know, I just haven't thought about it or whatever, so it's just my emotions. So, you know, I fell back. And what I did was I submitted, because he was kind of like, I was under his ministry. So because I was under his ministry, I went ahead and I said, you know what? If God has appointed him over me as far as ministry, I have to trust and believe that what this man is saying, maybe it's something inside of me that I'm just missing, because I've made mistakes before. And so I was like, okay, let me just fall back. So I said, okay, maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. I said, maybe it's my emotion. So I kept saying, God, what is it, and why do I keep hearing that David is my husband? I said, because I don't understand this. But God would never say anything. It was just quiet. So for like 6 months, we kept trying to go through this thing. I still wasn't hearing anything, but I was just like, you know what? I have moved on. Because even though God had told me, my whole thing is, when God gives you a word, you don't have to, some women will try to manipulate a situation to try to make things happen. I was far-fetched from that. I just was like, you know what? Okay, this is what I heard. If this is what's going to happen, then it's going to come around. So I was dating other people. I was like there is somebody else out there, whatever. So then from there, we started to have conversations and things begin to come around. I'm like, well, God, what I heard, is it really what I heard? Was I really right all this time? And then, so God began to speak to him, and then that's how we became on one accord.
Well, we're going to go to a break. I mean, that's a beautiful story. Everybody, you can go and clap. We're about to go to a break. This is Single on a Saturday Night. Now, and when you think about it, not everybody has the same relationship with God when it comes down to it. Not everybody is on this level as far as hearing from God about the one. And I'm a Christian, but I ain't heard nothing like that. I'm just sorry. I just have not heard about the one. I've heard about the get ready to go, but
all this stuff that they listening and all that. When I talked to my mama, she sent me an email from the grave. So I don't know, maybe they ain't really listening, because my mama I said, Mama, what to do? And the next day I had an email. I went to church, I had an email the very next day. So I don't know about all this 6 months of waiting and asking, and I don't know. My God fast.
all right, this is Single on a Saturday Night right here at the Grill, 1080 North Delaware Avenue. And we're going to go to a break and come back.
Saturday Night family, this is Michelle from Alvina Styles, just showing you all the latest and the greatest that we got going on. Today we have sundresses, we got bling shirts, we have lingerie, we got beautiful bags. Definitely come see alvinastyles.com for all the goodies we have for you.
Hey, welcome back to Single on a Saturday Night right here at the Grill, 1080 North Delaware Avenue. That is DJ Smooth back there on the ones and twos. He's cutting it up. DJ Smooth. That's what it is. Anyway, we are getting into the topic. Like I said, this is not for everybody. Everybody may not believe in what you believe in, may not believe in waiting on the one. And like I said, once again, I'm not saying that I don't believe it can happen. I've never heard it's the one. That's why I asked Dr. Webb what she thought. Did she hear it? Because I don't know. I haven't heard anything close to the one, or maybe I just haven't found the one. So what you speak is not for everybody. So if you had to say to someone who just doesn't believe, what would you say? Like, I mean, it's not for everybody.
Absolutely, and it's not. And I put that, it's on the Soulmate Specialist. I think it might be on the website, definitely on the Facebook page. It ain't for everybody, just like Jay-Z said, and it's not. And really, here's the other thing, here's the deeper thing. It's not supposed to be. It's not even supposed to be real. So that's real, but that's for another topic, another show. But at one point in time, many people didn't believe that the world was round. And there was these few people who were very passionate in letting people know the world is round. Because most people at that time were believing that the world was flat, right? And so at that time, that was considered common knowledge and it was considered intelligent. But as today, let somebody walk around saying that the world is flat. They look like the biggest fools. See, on purpose, people who know deep truths, right, at certain points in history, look like fools and are portrayed as fools, right? And faith is portrayed as foolish and foolishness, when everything is actually opposite, right? So what's considered to be foolish, which would be faith, is actually those who can't see it that way are actually, with time, would come to see what true foolishness is. So in terms of truth and whether or not there's, and we've talked about this, individual truths versus the overarching truth, the whole thing is this: when you come across, if you come to this show, like you said, and this wasn't on purpose, you didn't know Carvin's story, I didn't know Carvin's story, right? But it happens to be what it is. And you had 3-4 people, however many you said earlier, that are saying this similar message. When you hear that, anyone who subscribes to science, mathematics, or whatever, that's considered an established pattern. Established pattern you have to pay attention to. In psychology, right, cognitive affective psychology, it says that you can only perceive 100% of the things that you attend to. Meaning, if you're not paying attention, you can't have a perception of something that you're not paying attention to. So whatever's happening 2 rows behind me, right? Somebody could be doing whatever they're doing. Because I'm not paying attention to it, because I'm not attending to it, I can't have any perception of it. So my perception is only going to be on the things that I'm paying attention to. And even that can be skewed based on the angle with which I looked at it, the lenses, like Donovan said last episode, the lenses with which I'm looking at it, observing it, all of that kind of stuff. So it comes down to your experience, what you know, what you believe, and all of that comes together to make a perception, decisions, and things like that. And you just have to pay attention to the information that's being put in front of you. If you ignore it because you consider it, this isn't worth my time, this isn't worth my while, all things, no matter what you believe, true philosophers, true scientists, they take in all information and they study it all. After study, you discard what's not true. Those who are on the other side of that, they discard before study. They discard before examination. And that's when you get these different realities, these different beliefs, and all of that kind of stuff. So that's just going on a deep level. Most people don't even want to hear all that. Because what I hear and what I've been hearing for 4 years, as we talked about, Dave, you're too deep. This stuff is too deep, or it doesn't take all of that. Yes, it does. Look at it. If it didn't take all that, you wouldn't have the divorce rates that you had. If life and marriage and relationship, now, the timing is different for everybody.
So do you believe that, 3 years is a long time. I don't know, if you may be not in the baby area, you don't need babies or you don't want babies, but people who want babies, I can't see me making for 3 years, them babies gonna fall out. They're not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
Well, the other thing is that you cannot compare apples and oranges and mix your metaphors. I'm sorry, Dave, I disagree with you. You started with the world was flat, and then you went to that science proved otherwise. Well, then you want me to have faith. Well, science has proven that most of what we have believed is faith has actually been science. That's what's been revealed to us through time. And I know that we're going to, Bible thump and tell us that, God inspired man and whatever's going to happen, but I just think that in life, we understand that there are different people with different perceptions
Absolutely.
and different beliefs. And everybody's not going to have your biblical faith, and you were looking for something, and you were looking for something based on your biblical faith. But at the same time, truly the most successful relationship in this room, if we just looking around based on longevity, would be the DJ behind you. And, his wife, who's also here. And did it take you like 3 long years to figure it out? And then you was back and forth. Did God come down to you, strike a thunderbolt, give you some commandments on high, send you out to what did you hike through Lincoln University? And when you got to the chapel, he was like, there you go?
I met her in the financial aid office. We sat and talked while we were waiting for 2 hours. I knew that I could listen to that woman for my entire life after that 2-hour conversation. She was still married. She had a child. I didn't know about it. We dated for about 3 weeks before I found out. It was hard to get through that, but I had to make a decision. And in my gut, I knew that that person was the person I wanted to be with because I was so comfortable with her. And no matter what we had to go through, we went through it together. We figured it out. I got over, hey, why didn't you tell me you was married? Hey, why didn't you tell me you had a kid? Okay, let me think about whether I want to take on this role. Let me decide whether this is what I want to be. When I decided to do it, I went all in. And it was no more question as to whether or not we were going to be together or not. Now, it was a 5-year courtship. I took my time. I was very young.
5 years.
We broke up for a year. I decided, hey, after 2 years, we broke up and said, let's take a break because I need to know if this is right. We took a break. We still saw each other, but I was seeing other people, so was she. When we got back together, we knew that it was the right thing to do. And we got married in 2 months.
And just backing up, right?
Yes.
Because now they're trying to say, well, it would took you 5 years. How old were you?
20. 19.
I just want to just make sure we clarify that, because you didn't necessarily know
the reason why I'll tell you why it took 5 years. Because we both had to grow up.
Thank you.
We had to grow into being who we were.
So do you think that if you met her now in the same situation, you think it would take you 5 years?
Probably not, because I know what I know now, and I'm more intelligent, and I know what I want.
I like that key word, I know what I know now.
Yes.
Right? So it takes time for someone to get to know somebody. We're still learning each other. I know people who went to the grave still learning their mate. So the idea of it is that you should be patient about a decision that's going to be life-changing for you and somebody else. If you feel like I met you today, we married tomorrow, you'll be divorced next week. Because it's like, oh, I don't like the way he sleep. He smack when he eat. Oh my God. And you be ready to be out. So like you gotta really go through those things. You gotta find those things that you're good with and you're not good with.
Can I say something? I don't mean to cut you off. I respect you for waiting to have sex, but I would not have waited to have sex. I think sex is too important in a relationship.
Amen.
Not to know whether you are compatible.
Let me tell you
something.
something.
It is very important to me to know whether my mate likes a thing a certain way, likes certain things, doesn't like certain things. And for me to go into the biggest contract of my life without having all of the information, to me, it doesn't prepare me to deal with that relationship problem.
I'm actually glad you brought that up, Jason, because I was like, why are we not addressing this? 3 years?
3 years. Listen.
Sex is natural.
No.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
What, I mean, I'm just like really trying to understand, like, what do you do? I mean, like for me, I wouldn't even want him to kiss me because that would bring out, you know, just, I mean, like, what do you do?
Right. See, here's this intimacy is everything. Intimacy is conversation. We make love mentally. We talk about life. We talk about living. We talk about plans. I actually know for a fact that when we make love, it's gonna be the best love I had. You know why? Because I'm a producer, baby. I produce love. You know what I'm saying? I produce love. Sex is only good to a man by the way we make it. Definitely. So watch this. Wait. And here's the other thing. Here's the other thought. Again, let's
Clearly, I know more about this than you because I actually didn't had more sex because you've been waiting 3 years. So I'm gonna just tell you.
No, you just had some bumps.
I'm just gonna say, as a woman, you just listening.
All right, no, I just want you to understand this. Listen.
But wait,
Listen,
can
wait.
I just say something? Can I just say something?
One thing.
Okay, go ahead.
When you're in the business of service, right, to your mate, then you're gonna do what's necessary.
But what about her doing it to you?
But again, if she's not doing the same thing, listen, let me go back to the top because I think we wasn't listening. When you serve your mate and your mate serve you, right? We all Christians. We're Christians. The Christian. Listen.
Not everybody.
Now I'm talking to my Christians and the way Christians think. We come into this thing knowing my job is service. I'm here to attend to you. So that means while I'm talking to you, I know what you like. You're going to tell me what you like just through conversation. I'm going to watch everything about you. I'm going to study you like a book for 3 years. And I'm going to graduate with a master's. So I'm going to study her. And she's studying me. So she knows everything. That when we get to that point, it's going to be incredible.
But why isn't it just, it's his life. You don't have to, no one else has to wait 3 years. You don't have to wait 3 years. If that's what he want to do, let him do it. That's his life.
That's right.
Let him do what he want to do.
To each their own.
Right.
Exactly. To each their own.
Everybody gonna come into their own.
Right.
My thing is this: I'm 42 years old as today.
Oh,
I know what I want.
birthday.
I know what I want. If a guy steps to me today or tomorrow, I can look at him. He can say 1 or 2 things out his mouth, and I know he ain't the one, and I'm moving on to the next one.
Amen.
I'm not waiting 3 years. I'm not waiting 4 years. I had waited 42 years. I could have been married, and I chose not to be because I knew he wasn't the one. He's married to someone else now, and I sit back and look like I'm glad I didn't marry him.
Amen.
So, but we all gonna be, everybody's gonna pick their mate a different way. Yeah. The way you doing it and the way he's doing it, more power to you. Because 3 years, I'm not waiting 3 years for you to give me a ring. I'm sorry.
That makes sense.
So why would we?
Me.
And that's get it. I'm sitting here saying like, you know, I respect you. I mean, like I said, we got 20-something years in the game. You wait 3 years, that's you. Let him be who he is. And he's just sharing what he's going through. He's sharing his process. Let him wait 3 years. He can wait 4 years if he wants.
Not to mention, I was a dog. I did that. I had fun with that.
Yeah.
Right. Because I know what being a dog does. You know what I mean? It does what it do. So why do that? We already know the end result in that. We can go to sleep after it's done. Let's not do that. Let's stay woke and let's learn each other. Let's learn how we're gonna build a legacy, and that's what I'm into.
That's for him.
Yeah, that works for me.
That's for Carmen Higgins. That's for David Pulley. It may not be for me. It may not be for Mark. It may not be for Eric. You don't have to. He's not saying go out there and I'm telling you to wait 3 years. He's saying he's waiting 3 years. I don't know how long you gonna wait, but I'm just saying.
We're planning on getting married next July.
So thank you.
You know what, Shelly? I respect that and I agree.
Yeah, we're waiting to have sex also. And you know, I was doing the celibate. I was preaching, walking and talking the celibate thing even before I even knew her. 4 years ago, I was doing that. You know what I mean? So I've been on the show, been consistent about that, and you know what I mean. And what I can say though is that from a real talk perspective, I was walking the celibate path. It doesn't mean I haven't had any slip-ups. You know what I mean? I have had slip-ups, but you get back up. You know, like, who was it? Donnie McClurkin?
We fall down,
you get back up.
You know
what I mean? You fall off the wagon, you get back on it. But
I just wanted to say really quick, I agree with that, and I'm very much stay in your lane, because what works for you may not work for the next person. My question was just how, because I know I wouldn't be able to do that. That was just my
No, I get
question.
it. I can't even, and like I said, I'm a Christian. I can't even understand. Like, I don't even understand. I've been in relationships. I've been engaged, and I went 2 years. But you're trying to say 2 years without nothing. At least I did. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I'm just saying. I can't understand 3 years. But that's for you.
Yeah,
and you're right. You did your thing in life.
I've lived a wonderful life. I've definitely lived a wonderful life. But I've learned that through that is not really. That's not it. Like, that's not it. I've had the best sex in my life that almost killed me. But that wasn't my wife. You know what I mean? And I've had that thing that you leave like, I'm marrying her. And then 3 weeks later you find out she keep a dirty house. Her kitchen is nasty. And it's like, man, I don't want to be living in that. But the sex skewed the mindset to even be able to discern if this is really it. The sex was good, that it was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be perfect. But nah, it ain't perfect. You know what I mean? You got to be clean. I'm clean.
And when you've been there, done that, like again, you're hearing patterns because
I hear a pattern because I know both of you, and I think both of you. If I could go deep in my mentals about everything I know about you, I can say, yeah, y'all patterns are alike.
Yeah,
a lot alike.
And y'all know, I would tell y'all on the show, I had a sex addiction. I've been there, done. So when you hear a man tell you that he's stopping sex, it's because, trust me, I've had my fill. I've done things that dudes fantasize about doing. I've done it. And you find that, like he said, that's not it. He's a producer. So we know what he's probably had. I've had it. You know what I mean? And when you have options, you get the feel of that.
You can get whatever you like.
You can get whatever, right? but the whole thing is, it's not fulfilling. Because you grow up. And when you grow up, you realize this not worth it.
For you. Everyone
I'm gonna tell you real talk. For anyone who develops, forget the for me for a second. Forget the individualistic, because I'm not here to give that kind of message. I'm here to give a deeper message. And the deeper message is for anyone who develops sex, you'll find once you get to a certain point in your development, spiritual, mental, emotional development, as a grown individual, you will find that sex is not fulfilling enough. The things that it fulfills are lower level basic. And I've never been a basic individual. You need no marriage, and this is statistics, this is all the science you want. Legal science and statistics, no marriage, I promise you, is lasting 30 years off of sex.
Because you think of break.
I will say this. It is base. It is at the lowest level. But it's also at the foundation. It's part of the foundation of your relationship. Communication, trust, intimacy, sex. Those are all needs we fulfill for each other in a relationship. So it is a piece of that puzzle. And if you deny that piece, you're missing a piece of that puzzle. You're putting a piece away and saying, I'll deal with that piece when the time comes, instead of addressing it along with all of your needs. You're ignoring one.
But sex is not
Over
over
the
the
others.
other.
But we about
That's
to go
a
to
want.
the end. I'm going to end this like this. I got to end it like this. It's good for whoever it is. Why are we trying to convince them that they need to go have sex? Let them have, but let them be.
Actually, Shelley, no. I disagree with that.
I'm not saying that. Let them be who they are. Let them tell their
I
stories.
don't think anybody was trying to make them
but I'm saying let
walk a
them tell their
different
stories.
path. I don't think anybody was trying to say this is not the right thing
It's not
for them to
for them.
do.
They saying
No,
it's not for you.
I don't
It's
even
not
think
for
they
them.
were saying it wasn't for them. When you are adults, just like basically what they're doing is taking their time and trying to learn. We're taking our time and trying to learn too. And the way that you learn is by challenging thought. So I need to understand what you're saying to be able to see, well, maybe this is what I want to go do. I mean, I listened, and the answer is no. But I'm just saying maybe that's what the people are doing. Because when you challenge something, you challenge yourself.
Right. Before we go, we're going to talk to attorney Dion Browning. Tell us about the thing, the gala.
Exactly.
That gala.
Thank you, Shelley. The Browning Foundation is giving a scholarship gala on September 30th at 7 p.m. It's going to be at the Doubletree by the airport, which is 4509 Island Avenue. We'll be presenting 3 scholarships that evening. All total, well, they'll be totaling $15,000, $5,000 each.
And you can go to the Browning Foundation.org. The Browning Foundation.org. We'll put it on the bottom of the screen. So thank you so much for coming out to join us, attorney Dion Browning.
Thank you for
But we're going to have one last thing from David. Do you want to say anything else? You want to make any more announcements? David, do you want to make any more announcements?
I guess my final announcement is me and my lady, we're going to be taking this show on the road and giving our story and our message to different organizations, radio, TV. I brought Dr. Webb on board today to talk about how she influenced and helped me in realizing, because it took a month before I told her that I received. You know, when I did hear that she was the one, because I had these 2 words, I had to find out from God, why did I have 2 words and all that? So Dr. Webb was here, so she'll be a part of that, you know, for as much as she can. And as you heard in her story, her husband heard as well from God that she was his wife. So this is my last show as a regular. I will be back. You know, this is family, but this is my last show as a regular panelist.
I just, you know, sad to see you go, but I do understand, and I understand more than ever why. I didn't understand 2, 3, 4, 5 days ago whenever we talked. I didn't understand exactly, but I understand 100% why. As far as Dr. Webb, I never understood, like, why, you know, I mean, I understand why y'all hit it off more. Not that I didn't know the teacher, I mean, Dr. Webb first, but it's like, all right, I understand why the connection happened. And even though I've heard your story, even though your husband heard it, I still need to hear it for myself. I don't know, I need God to, I mean, really punch me and tell me this is the one. Somehow I'll jump up and down. I get it. I get your story. But I'm going to miss you. So everybody who's been around me, you might have some sparkle on you. So if you have a boo at home, if you're a man, please make sure you tell your chick that it was my sparkle, because I see it on your face and your face and your face. So don't go home and say, you know, who was you with if you got somebody, you got a secret boo at home.
We don't even have those
You know,
type of
I know, but I just had to put that
She ain't
disclaimer.
never worried about me.
For real, I just put that disclaimer out there, just in case you had some not pillow talk or some ice cream talk. And in the ice cream talk, she said, you got a sparkle on you. It's my sparkle. This is Single on a Saturday Night. We love you, Dave. Honestly, I pray for you, and I want the best for you. And I'm glad you found your ordained spouse. And next year, I hope we're invited to the wedding.
Absolutely.
If not, you know, I mean, just even if you could just invite me.
We can host it live,
Whoever
right?
you want to. If we could do the wedding, that would be nice. We had the wedding before, but then again, that didn't go out well. Didn't work out so good. We had a wedding, and that's all we had. It was really pretty.
I should have done mine.
It was pretty. When it was a pretty wedding, we was bridesmaids and stuff. But the marriage, God bless you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Charmel, yes, Charmel is getting married. I forgot Charmel. She started with Single on a Saturday Night lots of years ago, and she is getting married in September. I can say that, right? Yeah, in September. So congratulations to Charmel. I mean, for real, love is in the air. You know, maybe not for all of us yet. We're coming around to it. It'll come to us, right? One day. You're my ordained boo. So what we going to? We going? No. She's my ordained boo. My ordained boo. So if she finds one, I find one. We find one. We both find one. Oh, you find one too? Okay, all right. We're just all gonna get married and find our one. Or somebody. As long as we're not settling. Ain't that right?
Right.
Don't settle.
We're not settling. You know, marriage, it ain't for everybody. I'm gonna keep saying that. It's Single on a Saturday Night. Howard Gilliam Jr. I know you're back there and you're making this all great. Thank you for editing. Thank you for making this, not as the last show. I'm just saying thank you for everything you've done. I'm just trying to thank you profusely because I need you to remember this right this second. Remember this, thank you. Say thank you, Howard. Can we all say thank you? Thank you, Howard.
Thank you, Howard.
Thank you, Howard. Thank you. Sometimes thank you. Thank you. No, for 1 second. Thank you is all you need sometimes, right? Smitty, I love you too. Groove Boy Entertainment. Thank you. Might be all you need, right? Hey, let's go.
And don't forget,
We're
we're on
Evolve Radio 24/7. I thank you too, because we're here, right? We're on the radio. We're gonna check out some music. What you want to hear? Can I hear Bruno? I just want to hear Bruno Mars. That's what I like. That's all. It's not something bad, right? Bruno Mars is what I like.
Is that on the show?
Hey, you about to go off on the radio. Is it still on the radio?
Okay.
You on the radio?
We didn't wrap the show.
We rapping it. It's rap. It's rap. Goodbye. It's rap. It's rap.